Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. It is Saturday, October 17th, 2020. I am Andrew Hansen alongside Shane Caldwell, and it's time for the running back breakdown. Week 6, main slate. Shane, are you ready to break this down?
Yeah, we're fired up about these running backs this week here. So, yeah, we're definitely excited, and we've done a lot of research on it, and we're ready to give you guys some awesome running back plays to help build your lineups. Some ones that are a little bit chalky and some ones that might be a little bit lower owned that can help gain you an edge here.
Absolutely. We're going to go through the whole gamut and just want to thank our presenting sponsor right off the top, betus.com.pa. Love their partnership. That's where you can go for all of your sports wagering and casino action. And just make sure to use that promo code CoachTalk, all one word. You get a 125% match on your first deposit. So highly recommend that. And Shane, talk to me here. First running back off the board in that expensive tier. Who are we looking at?
Yeah, sometimes you got to eat the chalk and you got to look at the role in what the team does and the talent. And Alexander Madison is kind of hitting on pretty much all cylinders this week here. He's hitting pretty much every check mark you're looking at. He's got a great matchup. He's favored at home against Atlanta. Great matchup there. And he's in a great system for running backs. This system, in terms of their blocking schemes and their creativity and their ability to pass to the running back, is really good. And Alexander Madison is almost as good as their starter, Dalvin Cook, as a superstar. Even though he's priced up to the $7,000 range, I think he's still going to smash that value. He's going to get a lot of work in the passing game. He's going to be their goal line back, their early down back, pretty much everything you want in a role here. So he's pretty much a lock and load, almost a must play. It's no secret, but it is going to be one of those chalky situations that you almost have to eat here unless you're going multiple entries and you want to get different and fade him. But Alexander Madison is probably my favorite running back this week, and he's a lock and load there against the Atlanta Falcons in a high-scoring game, and he's going to get a ton of touches here.
Yeah, I mean, this is his chance to shine. So a smash spot for him. You mentioned the favorite at home, 4 points on BetUS, over under 54. So should be a lot of plays, a lot of action, a lot of chances for Madison. My favorite guy in that price range is James Robinson. A little bit cheaper on DraftKings at 6,800, going up against Detroit. They've got the 32nd ranked team against the rush so far this season. And in the last 5 games, he's been between 17 and 21 touches every game. So I just love the fact that they keep feeding him the ball no matter their scenario. So he's my pay up guy, so to speak.
Okay. And this is also one of my favorite guys. You love James Robinson. I love Mike Davis. So Mike Davis now is in a tough matchup, and he's more expensive. So
Right.
that does that, at least at a lowers ownership. That makes you a little nervous. But when I talk about roles, we talk about with Alexander Madison. He is in that bell cow role where he does everything similar to Alexander Madison in an offense that's been really good in terms of that role. So he's in that Christian McCaffrey role. Mike Davis in that role last 3 weeks, number 1 PPR running back and the 3rd rated overall running back rating for Pro Football Focus. So this guy just does everything. It's impressive his little route running out of the backfield and his ability to catch the ball. I don't know if I've even seen him drop a pass. It seems like every time I see him throw something, it seems like he catches everything. His power to finish the run, he's obviously the goal line back. So because he pretty much does everything, even in a tough matchup against Chicago, if he can't beat them on the ground, I think he can beat them through the receiving game. So that's why I think he is still viable here. And he's just in such a good role, and he's the type of guy that gets 20 to 25 touches. So that's why I think he can pay off that production in this matchup against Chicago.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen our recent shows, I'll give you props. You've been all over Mike Davis the last 3 weeks, every single week consistently. You played him when he was 5K range, 6K. At 7K, I think he is still viable, but I'm concerned about the upside against that Chicago defense. So to me, he's a little bit more of a cash play because you do figure he'll get a bunch of touches, but I'm not thinking he's going to get that huge upside like we've seen in recent weeks. So I'm going to look at the guy on the other side of the ball in that game, actually. David Montgomery, a lot cheaper at 5,800. Better matchup, Carolina number 25 against the run. And, we've seen without Tariq Cohen there, Montgomery getting more and more touches, more and more work in the passing game. So I'm going to have a lot of shares of Montgomery this week.
Yeah, Montgomery's definitely a great play. I mean, it's a crazy smash spot for Montgomery here. So, and going against that Carolina defense is weak. So definitely excited about him. My next guy that I do like, and I played this guy a lot this week as well, and he hasn't quite blown up yet. And we keep saying I'm waiting for the blow up spot. Eventually, I'm going to have to quit this guy, but for now, I'm not. And that is Jonathan Taylor. Okay, so I don't feel like they want to give this guy the ball. But Indianapolis are pretty big favorites going against Cincinnati at home. So it should be a perfect game script there. And if you watched Phillip Rivers last week, I've watched all the games. And my opinion, if I'm Frank Reich, is let's get the ball out of Phillip Rivers' hands and let's give this to our talented running back that we drafted in the in the second round. We used a lot of equity on. We have a great matchup against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is missing some of their guys, including their defensive tackles, DJ Reader and Sam Hubbard as well, 2 run stuffers there. So Cincinnati was already suspect against the run. Now they're missing a couple of their big guys in there. So you can imagine what the Indianapolis offensive line is going to do against the Cincinnati front here. They're going to have huge holes, and maybe Jonathan Taylor can actually get in space because he hasn't looked super elusive, but he's looked very powerful and very fast still. He just hasn't had enough space for those big explosive runs. So I think this is the week that he can finally break out. He's obviously the goal line back. He's really good, and he definitely has 2 to 3 touchdown upside. And it may be the week where he finally gets over 100 yards again. I think he's had 1 game over 100 yards. So he's in a blow-up spot here in a great position. Great game script, great matchup. And I'm telling you, Indianapolis has to finally start giving him the ball. And I'm hoping that what's the other running back? Jordan
Wilkins.
Yeah, Jordan Wilkins. I'm hoping that he's out as well. He was a little bit banged up this week because they don't really need to give him the ball too much. So, yeah, I think that Jonathan Taylor can get more carries because of the game script here. So he's a great play this week.
Yeah, and the numbers from Vegas certainly support that. On betus.com.pa, Indianapolis 8-point favorites with a 46 over under. So certainly that would work out well if they get that lead and they can just keep pounding the rock with Taylor. Guy who's a little bit cheaper on DraftKings that I'm looking at, David Johnson, 5,400 against Tennessee. They have a 27th ranked rushing defense. And Shane, you mentioned on the quarterback show your interest in Deshaun Watson this week, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I do like that passing game, the spot they're in. But I like it for David Johnson here as well. And for the same reason you mentioned on the quarterback show, short rest for Tennessee. They just played Tuesday night. Yes, they get to stay at home. But, I like how Johnson had about 20 touches in the last game with Romeo Crennel in his first game as the interim head coach. So I feel pretty solid about that role. Yes, they've talked about getting Duke Johnson a couple more touches, but I think at that price tag, he makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. Yeah, the next guy that I'll talk about in a little bit more affordable price range here is Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones for Tampa Bay. I love their run scheme. I love their run blocking. And my opinion, the game plan will be to run the ball and try to protect Tom Brady because I think Green Bay has a pretty good secondary and a really good pass rush. And Tom Brady's a pure pocket passer. I don't think he's going to do well against this pass rush. So you're going to need to run the ball to control this game. You want to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field anyways on the other side. So Ronald Jones has looked really explosive. He's looked powerful. He's looked really good as their early down back. I know he's been a little shaky in the passing game, but I think he'll get the production. I think he's their goal line back, and he will get a ton of carries here. I know Leonard Fournette's coming back, which I understand that can make you a little nervous, but I don't think Leonard Fournette's going to get that many carries. I think he'll come in and spell Ronald Jones when he needs a little bit of a break, and he might take a series off here and there, put Leonard Fournette in there. But I think Ronald Jones has proven himself as the number 1 running back here, and he's played excellent. And I think the way you beat Green Bay is you run straight at him to help protect against the pass rush. So I think that means big production from him. And I expect a pretty high-scoring game there at Tampa Bay and Green Bay in the 425 game. So I think that he should be able to get some touchdowns in that game.
All right. Now, Shane, I want to ask you for a GPP play out of the backfield in Detroit because you are the Detroit man. In fact, for the listeners who aren't following Shane on Twitter, go find him at DET Sports Shane. You can find me at Language Olympic. You can find all of us at DFS Coach Talk, and you can find the coach at JOESARVADI. So Shane, with your Detroit expertise, good matchup on paper for this Detroit backfield. Are you leaning one way or the other?
Yeah, I think that I'm looking for DAndre Swift here. I mean, why would you draft this guy in the second round and then just hardly play him and then bring in the 35-year-old Adrian Peterson, who I know looks good for his age, but he's really not that explosive. You need playmakers. If you want to try to save this season for Detroit, you need guys that can get the ball and they can take it to the house. They can make explosive plays. That's what you need. You got a great matchup against Jacksonville, and we have a huge run blocking advantage here. Detroit's offensive line this year is the number 3 run blocking graded offensive line in the entire league, according to Pro Football Focus. So they're a really good run blocking team. And Jacksonville's not very good against the run. They're pretty weak up front. So we have a huge run blocking advantage this week. And that means you can get guys like DAndre Swift, get him some openings, give him the ball in the running game, and get him heavily involved in the passing game and create mismatches and explosive plays here. He's already been getting some more red zone carries and red zone targets. I think his amount of usage in snaps goes way up here, and he's in a smash spot, and he's really cheap because they haven't been using him like 4,500, for example, on DraftKings. That's the type of play that could be like 1% ownership that could put you over the edge in a GPP large field in DraftKings, for example. So that's why I like DAndre Swift here. I think this is his week. I mean, Detroit has to do something to change to try to save the season, and Matt Patricia's pretty much his job's on the line. So let's get DAndre Swift in there this week and have a blow-up game and come out of nowhere at low ownership for a low price.
Nice call. Love the insight there. And I'll wrap it up for the running backs this week with another GPP play in Myles Gaskin, 5,400 on DraftKings. Great matchup against the Jets at home. And, he's got to be thrilled that they didn't sign Le'Veon Bell. And I am too for him, for his opportunities. So fire him up again at a nice price, and you'll be off and running. So we want to thank you for tuning in here to the Running Back Show. Again, if you're new to the program, we offer memberships on our website, dfscoachtalk.com. Go ahead and snag one of those. We'll get you into our Discord. That's where we give out our lineups every slate in the NFL. On the main slate, we give a cash lineup on FanDuel, a GPP lineup on FanDuel that you can just plug and play. And then on DraftKings, we give out the coach's clipboard with our core plays and pivots. So we invite you to take advantage of that, dfscoachtalk.com. And then on YouTube, click that subscribe button. Make sure you get the alerts for our other podcasts. We've got the quarterback show out tonight, the wide receiver tight end show, and then we'll also have the primetime show previewing the Sunday night game and the 2 Monday night games. So thank you for all of your support here on YouTube and social media. And be sure to tune in for our next podcast as we look to crush it in DFS.
Wake up, sports bettors. Sports are in high gear at BetUS.com, so put down the beer and make every sporting event more exciting by putting stakes on the line at BetUS. Earn bragging rights over your friends as you rake in the cash from each week's betting action. But don't settle for any other book. Choose America's favorite sportsbook with over 25 trusted years in the industry, BetUS. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity, but more importantly, you need a sportsbook that pays. BetUS has your game with action on football, baseball, basketball, MMA, golf, horse racing, and even esports. No other sportsbook welcomes newcomers like BetUS with their jaw-dropping sign-up bonuses. Sign up now with promo code CoachTalk for 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. The best in the biz. Now you have the best book in the business with the best DFS provider in the business, Coach Talk. Create your account to make point spread bets, futures bets, prop bets, entertainment bets, live bets, and more. No other sportsbook is as committed to their members as BetUS. Sign up now and get in on the winning side of the ball.